Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to show you how to repair the oil pressure problem the right way on your Chevrolet Silverado and GMC Sierra. The oil pressure sensor is actually behind this intake. So in this video I know it's going to be a little bit hard to see, so I'm going to do a couple different angles using a couple different vehicles that I'm working on to show you how to change it. But as long as you have an oil pressure sensor socket, a swivel extension, a little short extension, and a ratchet, you should be able to get it out pretty easy. First thing we're going to want to do is get your brake booster vacuum line out of the way. Then disconnect that, slide it up here to the top. This is the tricky part that I'm going to have a hard time showing you. The connector back there has to be disconnected. It's got a little slide up on it, and then you squeeze the connector and slide it up, and it should come right out. Sometimes you have to use a little hook tool to get it up, but I was able to get it off pretty easy. Like I said, it's got a gray clamp on it that slides up, squeeze it together, slide it up, come right off. It's right back here behind the intake. After you get that done, take your oil pressure sensor socket with the swivel on it, slide it right down on top of the sensor. Use your extension after it's on, slide it onto the swivel, use your ratchet, break it loose. Once it's normally loose, you can take that out of the way. It's normally finger tight. You can get it off without the socket on there. I like to just move it with the socket a little bit to make sure that it's going to come out. And then remove the sensor. After the sensor is removed, there's a little filter underneath there. You're going to need your hook tool to get to it. I know some people use a bolt. They screw into it and slide it out. I just like to use my hook tool. I can get to it. You can kind of, there's a hole right here. You can kind of see where you're getting to. Take your hook tool, slide in there, and pull the filter out. Okay, so this is the little filter. We're going to change this filter. If you look at it, it's got trash all in the bottom side of this. Now what most people do is they take this sensor or this filter, they change the filter, they change the sensor. But when you do that, the problem is there's still trash in there. So what I like to do to make sure that I get it done and get it done right, and I'm not back in here doing this again, is after I remove the filter, I take air and a little bit of brake cleaner and I push through there. That the hole for this filter goes straight down to the oil filter. So I'm going to go ahead and take the oil filter off right now and put a little drain pan underneath of it. After I do that, I'm going to put air in there, push all my trash out the bottom, and then I'm going to put the new filter in. Okay, now that I have the oil filter off, and let me just say, anytime I do this job, I always do an oil change with it. It's up to you if you want to do it. You don't have to do this step if you don't want to. I just do this step to make sure that that I get as much trash out of it as I can. That way I'm not back up here next week doing the same job on the same truck where all I had to do was put a little bit of air pressure through there to clean it out. But I'm going to go ahead and take my little air pistol. I'm going to feed it back there into the hole. And then like I said, push as much of that trash down there as I can. So this is my new oil filter that's going to go in. I'm going to stick it back in the bag. Once it's in the hole, I'm going to give it just a little push down. You should feel it snap down into place. After that, I'm going to take my oil pressure sensor, go ahead and slide it on. Take my oil pressure sensor socket, slide back down over the new sensor. Put my extension on it. Go ahead and tighten it up. Go ahead and connect your connector. And reinstall your hose. So your brake booster. Go ahead and put your engine cover on. After you got your engine cover on, go ahead and, like I said, put your new filter on, your oil filter on. Put your good, or if you decided to change your oil, go ahead and fill it with oil, and then go ahead and crank it. You should have oil pressure. So this engine here actually had a engine fire. We're going to be replacing the harness and everything, but you can see that oil pressure sensor back there in the back. I'm going to go ahead and show you on this one. Maybe it'll make it look a little bit more easy. You can kind of get an idea of where everything is that has to be replaced. Go ahead and remove that oil pressure sensor. Take your hook tool, slide down in there, slide that oil pressure sensor filter out. I've already got the oil filter removed off this one, so go ahead and take your shop air. And like I said, you don't have to do this step. I just like to do this step to make sure. Put it down in the hole. Blow your trash back down out the bottom of the engine. Take your new oil pressure sensor filter. Stick down in the hole. Push it down until you feel it snap. Put your new sensor in. After that, put your oil filter back on, fill it up with oil if you decided to do an oil change, and crank it up if it's got an intake on it, and see if you got oil pressure. Okay, so I know you're saying, how many times is this guy going to show me how to do the same job a different way? Well, if it helps one more person, this is a brand new valve lifter oil manifold. What we want to do, remove the oil pressure sensor. Down in that hole, you want to take your hook tool, stick down in there, remove the oil filter, take your shop air, stick down in the hole, blow it in, blow all that trash out to your oil filter that you've already taken off, stick your new oil filter in, put your oil pressure sensor back on it, tighten it down, put your oil filter on your truck, new oil in your truck. If you're going to change the oil, go ahead and crank it. You should have oil pressure. And you're done. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And as always, if you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe. Thanks again for watching.